Thank you for coming to the Management Channel, and under our Management Operations section, we're going to look at planning out your meetings. Our objectives here are to analyze what is an effective meeting, where should you hold it, what kind of equipment do you need, what are the methods for conducting a meeting, how to lead an effective meeting, how to improve them above all, and let's talk about what is the purpose of meetings. The purpose of meetings are allow groups to function, define the goals, contribute to participants' morale and status by having them involved, by developing the organizational culture, and it might be a problem-solving meeting for a brainstorming session. Costs of meetings are the values of the participants' time in preparing for, taking part in, and maybe possibly traveling to and from the meeting. The amount of time spent in catching up on their routine work also costs after they finish the meeting, the time missed from work, and accumulated problems while the participants were in the meeting. All cost money. Effective meetings are one where they achieve their objectives, they're organized to require minimal time and not drag on, they create some form of synergy within the team, and they satisfy the participants of the meeting. So you need to determine the format. You need to ask yourself, first of all, what is the significance of the objective of this meeting? What is the proximity? Will they have to travel far to come here? What's the time frame for responses from the participants who are in the meeting? Meeting soon or right away? Now, you can use technology to help you conduct these meetings. So meetings could be held as a face-to-face in a conference room. They could be telephone conference calls. They could be video conferencing, such as Cisco or Skype. They could be a group email or a GoToMeeting or JoinMe software on the web. Now, are you going to have a formal or an informal meeting? Formal meetings require much preparation and a specific agenda to follow. An informal meeting is a little more spontaneous, like when a problem arises or an urgent matter comes up and there's very little prep time available. The various types of meetings are information meetings, which are advising and updating, selling or proposing new products or services. They could be an educational or information conveyance meeting. They could be a decision-making meeting, such as goal and policy setting for strategy, problem-solving meeting, or maybe it's a product or new service creation meeting. But bear in mind there are also strategic planning meetings, focusing on redirecting the organization, information sharing, providing new information that impacts the participants, brainstorming, generating new ideas or solving problems. Or it could be a training meeting, instructing multiple people all at one setting. And it could be a progress meeting from the top management, progress tracking, periodic reporting, or updating of change implementation. Now, we also have what's called virtual meetings, and they're very important today in business, but they can also be complicated. There are several types, as we mentioned: teleconference, GoToMeeting, GoToPhone, computer conference like Skype, or video teleconference like Cisco. The advantages are they're fast, instantaneous, save anybody from having to travel, spending money getting there, and you can connect worldwide. The disadvantage is you're not always face-to-face, it's less personal, and there are language barriers, particularly if you have a diversified audience and they don't understand. So you want to watch using acronyms and slang. To arrange a virtual meeting, you need to establish general guidelines and agenda. Virtual meetings are good for dealing with common conference calls, simple meetings, or maybe a sales presentation. For technical meetings, problem solving, or product development, you need a visual virtual meeting such as Skype or Cisco. So what you want to do is you want to arrange the room and the equipment. This is your checklist. Set up and check the equipment. Make sure it works before you have the meeting. Nothing like having a meeting kick off and the equipment isn't functioning. Facilitate some backup equipment on standby, because again, you never know what could go wrong. Have some technical support numbers handy from your IT department. And ensure the facility is free of noise, free of distractions and interruptions. Meeting participants. They should be those who contribute to or gain something from the meeting. Meeting leaders should understand the participants' attitude and experience with the topic, the level of commitment to improve the situation, the participants' department role, and the ability to contribute to discussions. And also, are there personal or job-related goals involved? Information meeting prep. Prepare for questions to ask of the group. Also, prepare responses for questions from participants. What might they ask? You want to be prepared for that. Present your details effectively, and at the end, where allowed, have question and answer session. When you're selecting your meeting participants, for information meetings, you need to have those who need to know the information, those who need to receive information at the same time, and to provide asking useful questions, or those who can support some implementation of a new project. Those who have contribution potential is the key. For problem-solving meetings, you want to have those who have knowledge of the subject, those who have commitment to solving the problem, those who have the time to actually participate, those with a diversity of viewpoint, in other words, a cross-functional team, those who have an open mind and contribute fresh ideas to the session. For a decision-making meeting, you want to have flip charts, post-it notes, a whiteboard, whatever is possible. Ensure a rational decision-making process. Well, what is that? It's a multi-step process to decide between alternatives. The process favors logic, objectivity, and the analysis of the facts and some insight from those who have knowledge. You want to create alternatives, brainstorming, using the nominal group technique. Then choose among the alternatives proposed, like voting, consensus, the nominal group technique, or criteria-based decision-making. When planning the meeting, first make sure you have an objective. Create one. What's the point? You need 3 characteristics. Specific, clearly state what needs to be done and who needs to do it. Realistic, make sure it's attainable and achievable. Time-based, it needs to be completed by what date or what deadline. So you might have to set up SMART goal objectives, and we've covered this before. But again, they are objectives that are singular, specific, with measurable terms and a target date. So, SMART goals, S, specific item, clearly stated, measurable, numerically, attainable, realistic in that it can be done, relevant, important to the growth or important to the meeting, and time-bound. When is it due by? What's the target date? So an agenda should include prioritizing the topics, allot time for each agenda item, specify the purpose of the meeting, obviously, have a time leading for the meeting, and I recommend don't ever go over an hour. Distribute your agenda to all the participants. Send ahead of the time so they can give you feedback on the topics, and it also helps your participants prepare themselves for the meeting. So planning the meeting, develop an agenda, the date and the time, what are the objectives, what are the items for discussion, what's the adjournment time, and are you going to have any scheduled breaks in this meeting? Make sure you send the agenda to the participants before the meeting. Choose a meeting time. The considerations should be preparation time, your availability, the participants' availability, and the availability of the facility you wish to use. You may have to consider some unconventional time. For instance, if you're here in America and dealing with Korea, you'll either have to come in real early or stay late so that you can have the meeting with them due to the time zone difference. Planning must include objectives, participants and assignments, agenda, date, place, and time, and leadership. Who's in charge of this meeting? And again, your components for the meeting should be the agenda and the content, equipment needed or props, What kind of group interaction are you wanting? What is the structure organized to be? And then in the end, you want to review the meeting, close the meeting, and review who's doing what. So now, should the meeting be on the facility on site, or should you have it off site? What comfort and special needs might participants require? Do you have anyone who is handicapped that needs some special consideration? What is the room set up to be? Have them face-to-face is preferable. What equipment do you need? Computer, visual aids, etc. The location should be within a reasonable, convenient distance. Should be adequate with comfortable space, good seating, sufficient lighting and ventilation, obviously clean and organized. And the seating arrangement, you should have the chairs facing each other so as to encourage discussion between the group. Some guidelines for your visual aids. Flip charts, Post-its, as mentioned. Do you need a projector, a laptop computer? Are there handouts required, or what other items might be needed for this meeting? You want to have stress-free presentation, so make sure you check your computer. Use a remote mouse instead of having to walk to your laptop each time. Do you need a laser pointer? Turn off your screensaver so it doesn't interrupt your presentation during slack times of discussion. Have some backup material for just in case, and have a backup presentation in case your laptop or other technical devices fail. When you schedule a meeting, you need to consider the availability of the participants. What's a convenient time? Offer a RSVP and comment on time for meeting. Outlook lets you accept or decline if you send it out in an Outlook message. So thank you for watching this chapter. I invite you to watch the next section on how to conduct meetings. Thank you and have a great day.